This is the Dark Shadow of Light, and you're watching my Let's Play of Sonic Heroes. In the last episode, we did stages 7 to 9 of the Super Hard mode, and in this episode, we will do stages 10 to 12.
You sure it's safe around here?
Once again, no, it is not safe in here, especially not that this is Super Hard mode. Yet another difference is that here we have to deal with a helmed egg hammer, whereas in the story, the egg hammer that was here was just a normal one. So you'll have to use up some time in the beginning of the stage to destroy this guy. Recommendation, since Knuckles is not leveled, is to simply knock him down with fly formation after he spins around, and then just use power formation to get rid of him. We got a blue power core, and I think there's a yellow one, probably off to the right, but we missed it, so oh well. I'm just going to skip that enemy and use a shortcut, which I'm sure I showed in the story. Again, I'm just going to skip these enemies. Now, I was skipping a lot of battles in the beginning of the stage, but that won't be the case for the rest of the stage, especially since now we have a couple of egg hammers up. We have a couple of egg hammers coming up, and I'll just fight these guys for power cores. And even with level 1 Knuckles, they're pretty easy to defeat. They become much easier to defeat with, level 2 and 3, so long as they don't have helmets on. Now, I'm sure you guys have already noticed this by now, but the difference between a normal egg hammer and a helmed egg hammer, aside from the helmet, is that I didn't mean to do that. Is that normal egg hammers are lighter in color than the helmed egg hammers. The difference, as I'm sure you've seen, is that with this one here is a normal one. The armor, the metal plating on this one is lighter, and the ones on the helmed egg hammers are darker. So you can pretty much tell just by looking that one's more challenging than the other, because Sega also did a nice job of making the helmed egg hammer look like more of a challenge. So far this stage isn't all that difficult. In fact, in its entirety, it's not. Overall, it's pretty easy. But close to the end, it can get rather difficult, and it can be difficult and unforgiving. I'll explain that later. Let's see, I think I was going to say something, but I don't know what that was. Oh well. Up here, you have to use speed formation, and fortunately none of these robots have spikes, but this last one here is at such a great distance from the one before it that you will have to use the tornado attack to proceed. And all of them are easily wiped out by Knuckles, and we got a blue power core. I would prefer that to be a yellow one, but oh well. No matter, the checkpoint will take care of that for us if destroying enemies doesn't. Now, I just remembered what I was going to say earlier, is that, wow, as soon as I say I remember, I forget. Let's see, what was I saying? Alright, the stage isn't too difficult, it's taking me longer than it should to progress, but that's only because I'm fighting most of the enemies. Now, I'm going to assure you guys that if I skipped all of these fights, or all the ones that weren't necessary to do to progress the stage, I'd easily be able to do these stages as much as 2 to 3 minutes faster. But as I explained in the first Super Hard video, which was episode 39, I can't help myself. I feel inclined to fight. It's just something that I don't feel satisfied without doing. But don't misunderstand. That's not how I am in real life. I mean, I don't go around making trouble or picking fights with people. But in video games where you have to do combat, I basically do as much of it as I can, even if I don't have to. And you'll see that in future Let's Plays, especially since all of the foreseeable Let's Plays that I'll be doing will be of games that involve a lot of fighting. So yeah, I'm not going to go into too much detail about my Let's Plays though, because I've already said I'm not really going to tell you guys what I'm doing in case plans change. Plus, I prefer to keep this a secret. Now here, with those two vines, or the ivy, it is possible for the first one to launch you all the way up here, but I don't exactly know how to do that, and if it happens, you could also be launched in such a way that you'd fall off the stage. So, try not to get the first one to propel you all the way, especially since you don't have to, and the chances of it actually doing that are pretty low, and there's a risk factor to doing that. And yes, there was something here, but Sega went and decided to change things up for us, so nope, it's not here, or at least the cage containing the frog is still here, but the structure of the stage is different. Now upcoming is what I believe is a helmed egg hammer. I'm just going to wait for him to appear and then use Team Blast to wipe him out. No, well, I couldn't really see whether or not that hammer was helmed, but whether or not it was, it didn't stand a chance against Sonic Overdrive. And we're nearing the end of this stage. It won't be too much longer now. Now here you have the black frog followed by the green frog, and the last frog that sees you is a frog whose rain effect dominates. So basically, because it was the green frog whose rain restores plant life, it was that frog saw us last, that rain will take effect over the black frog's rain, which kills plants. So I think, no wait, I might mention that in the next episode. But here is what I was talking about earlier when I said it could get difficult and unforgiving. See, this part of the stage, I didn't really show it because it didn't. I didn't see it showed in story mode because it didn't become a problem, and it shouldn't here. Is that here? It's possible for you to, if you miss the timing or for whatever reason the game glitches here, it's possible for you to jump off of the ivy and fall into the water and miss an ivy entirely. So you definitely want to be careful when you're doing this part of the stage. Don't go too fast and don't go too slow. I meant to go directly to the goal ring, but I suppose it was the Rocket Excel that took me that made me spring off the plant there. So it's the end of the 10th stage. Now we will move on to stage 11, which is Hanging Castle. We'll do this stage in Mystic Mansion, and that'll be it for this episode. We're still pretty early in this episode too, so this one will go on for a bit. Now down here, don't light dash along that path of rings because you won't have enough momentum when you go along the dashboard. And there's a giant pumpkin, which I'm sure we saw none of those in the story.
What? What's going on?
Now here's a little different. You see, you have to destroy the enemies, but you also notice that the torches are unlit. In addition to destroying the enemies, you have to light the torches with the power formation in order to make the cage unlock. And the path of rings appearing is the same as it was in story mode. You have to destroy these guys, and the cage containing the switch opens.
We're turning upside down again!
We're back to normal now!
Yeah, Tails, we're back to normal. You can't turn upside down twice. I understand what you meant, but that's not the proper way to say it. Now up here, we have the first checkpoint, and down here is a rather large spike ball that will really get in your way as it's placed in the center. So you definitely want to be careful on the way down here, especially if you don't have any rings. Now, I'm not really sure whether or not I hit that switch. It was either Rocket Excel or maybe the flames themselves were float the castle. Well, then that doesn't make any sense, so oh well. Now, I could just skip these guys entirely. Fighting them doesn't have any significance to what we have to do, but oh well. And we got a red power core for Knuckles. Team isn't exactly highly leveled yet, but that'll change. And as you'll notice, the couple of changes there where the torches were not there, and the pumpkins appeared unlike in the story, and they were moving back and forth. And there's that path of rings that you have to go along if you want to proceed. and there's level 3 Knuckles, and upcoming you have this pumpkin that will get in your way. So you want to go more to the left than to the center, because if you don't and you're just crazy with a quick ascent, you could end up flying into that pumpkin, and if that happens, you could take damage, you'll almost certainly fall off the stage. So you want to be careful of that.
Look, the door's open.
And we have two sets of robots here, led by Gold Robot, and for both, just destroy the Gold Robot to save time, and once again, we have to use power formation to light the torches here, and once the torches are lit, the pole will activate, and I'll just kill a bit of time by breaking these walls and getting the rings behind them. Total of 30, that gave us an extra life. This is one of the longer poles in the game, as you guys can see, but the longest one remains in the final fortress. I don't exactly know whether or not I'm pretty sure we won't be seeing the pole in Final Fortress, as this is super hard mode and they've made structure changes. But fortunately there are no enemies on here, and I meant to actually get that checkpoint, but oh well. And now I'm taking a checkpoint that you guys have seen many times before, but I'm doing I'm taking a shorter version of the shortcut, as going all the way is rather risky, and if you miss the platform, you might be going so fast that you don't react quickly enough to fly up. Now, instead of taking the full version of the shortcut I showed earlier, I'm going to do the short version of the shortcut, because I want to show these this part of the stage down here, and just skipping a whole bunch of it wouldn't be showcasing the super hard mode now, would it? Now, once again, we have a spiked robot beginning a chain. Fortunately, I hit it right before it was too late, and I didn't fall off the stage. And it's quite possible for that pumpkin to mess you up if you jump dash with the intention of doing the homing attack before it fully appears, which I explained in the story mode.
Level up.
And now the only one without a third power core is Sonic, but that will be fixed soon.
What's it doing here?
Well, I don't exactly know, but as long as it is here, that's just better for us. Now here we have a path illuminated by blue rather than yellow torches this time. And unlike in the story mode, the whole path is I don't know how to describe it. Basically, you float along the whole path. Now, destroying these gold robots doesn't actually destroy any enemies in return, like as a result, but you can still destroy them for points. And it's taking me longer than intended to destroy these enemies, but oh well. They're still like range robots, they don't stand a chance. Now, of course, again, I'm going to destroy these guys. I'm not really sure whether or not all of these guys have to be destroyed for you to proceed. I'm pretty sure only the one at the end has to be destroyed, but I might be wrong about that. And there's a checkpoint that will cause Sonic to be fully leveled. In order to proceed in this area, you have to destroy all of the enemies and light all of the torches with power formation. Either an attack or a final hit from Knuckles will do. And these enemies are not too difficult to destroy. Just the shields cause it to take longer to defeat them. Now, I'm not really sure whether or not a shortcut's possible there, but it seems like if you started flying soon enough, you'd be able to fly in through that window. And once again, I got hit by one of those giant pumpkins. It's nice, but I'm really not sure whether or not you could use that window fly combination as a shortcut, as you don't really gain control of your characters quick enough to be able to do that. And here's a shortcut you can take. It's not much of a shortcut, but it took us to a 1-up, for which you should be grateful, I suppose. And there will be some enemies that appear here after you, but they're easily destroyed. Nothing difficult. Going to get this power core, and then go along this path of, let's see, 51 rings, I believe. Now down here you have to destroy the robots and light the torches. Now there are 6 torches, and the last 2 can be quite difficult to light in comparison to the other 4. considering that you'll have to use fly formation or fancy jumping to get to them. Now, what I just did would will save you some time if you do it correctly.
Eggman's got
And
some serious problems. Look at that statue.
Sonic, look! There's a target switch!
okay, now you guys notice I just stopped abruptly. Now I'm pretty sure you guys have already gathered this, but and I've already explained it before. But I tend not to talk when the characters are talking. So if you see me, if you hear me stopping, it's if you hear me stop talking, it's because I don't want to interrupt what the characters are saying, even though that dialogue was already heard before in this Let's Play, and I'm pretty sure I commentated after it, so oh well. Now this part here can be tricky because you have that spiked robot and that pumpkin that can mess you up, so you want to be careful. And of course, once again, we have enemies that aren't difficult to destroy, and we have the end of the stage coming up, but there's a difference here in that for the super hard mode, they made this similar in structure to Team Dark's, in that the dashboard at the end of this won't take us to the go ring, but instead to a switch that will activate involuntarily, that will take us to the end of the stage. Now I meant to actually jump through those giant rings, but it doesn't matter that I do, and it's probably quicker that I don't, but oh well. It's not as if the score matters here, so the less time we spend, the better. Especially as you see it's taken almost 9 minutes to finish this one stage. That's why this video, as you can see, this video is quite long. Now, by the time this video was recorded, I put in the again here you have to light the torches and destroy the enemy. I put in the in my channel that that I would save this video and future videos in a different format because episode 39 failed to upload the first time because of the issue mentioned in episode 37 where there was not a supported file format. I don't really know why I decided to throw that one at me, but oh well. I had to re-upload it, and that's why the video wasn't up sooner. And at this time, episode 40 is ready for upload. Will be uploaded sometime after this video is recorded. And fortunately, this egg hammer here is not helmed, so destroying it's rather quick, a quick and easy process. Now, I did mention this in my update video, and I put it as annotation in the last couple of videos, but you can check my channel description for updates, and also I was messing around with the settings in my channel, and I found that you could actually leave channel comments now. So if anyone wants to go there and leave channel comments, that'd be nice. That would be nice. Suppose it would be appreciated, I guess. If you guys want to talk to me or whatever, not that I imagine you want to. But you can leave comments, have conversations with each other or me, whoever. As long as the content of your comments are appropriate, I really don't care what you say. But I won't really go into too much detail about that, since at the time of this Let's Play, I don't really get that many viewers, and I probably won't ever have a lot of viewers. I don't really see myself being a known Let's Player on YouTube, because some people get noticed and then others don't. But if I wanted to get noticed, though, I would probably have to put a lot of hard work in. So you see, Sonic has gained 3 levels rather quickly. So destroying enemies at the beginning of the stage is rather easy, and power cores for the other 2 team members are gained quickly too, because what we want to do here is go on both of these trolleys with fly formations. Tails will gain 2 power cores, and at the end I'll get the checkpoint with Knuckles so that my entire team will be level 3. It's a bit of smart playing that you can use to easily quickly level your team. So, just fly over that guy so that you don't get hit. And you don't have to destroy this enemy, so I'm not going to. You have to activate the switch on the right in order to proceed. Although you could probably activate the switch on the left and use a shortcut that I showed, and I think back during Team Chaotix's videos. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything about their story, but just know that though we may have finished the stories for Team Dark, Rose, and Chaotix, it's not the last time we'll be using those teams. Now, but as I just said, I won't be spoiling anything. Now, having level 2 or 3 Knuckles makes this part of the stage quicker, as if you use a final hit, especially if it's level 3, you could destroy those egg hammers rather easily. Now, up here you have to light the torches, which will open the door up ahead, and then activate the switch, and it'll make the enemies in that room come to life. I don't really consider it spoilers, but well. Now, I meant to fly up here, but for some reason Tails was damaged, probably by the torch, so I wasn't able to switch formations. And destroying these guys is rather easy. The quickest method to use is probably a power formation with level 2 or 3. But speed formation is not too slow either. Now I'm going to use Team Blast to get rid of this guy. Excuse me. Yeah, we got our yellow power core. Sounds as if we need one. What we have to do is we have to light all the torches and we have to light all those torches to proceed. Whether or not you get that ring doesn't really matter. But I suppose I wouldn't really go for the ring fires, you guys. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's not exactly worth it. What you could do is start the Knuckles combination in such a way that he distarts his final hit as he goes up into the air while he's touching his switch. So as soon as the room is changed, you can come back down and damage and destroy all of the guys. Destroy all the smaller robots so long as he's level 2 or 3. Now, we have to, once again, we have to light these torches. We've seen quite a bit of that in this zone, and we won't, this isn't the last of it that we'll see. Now, we have we have this trolley and another one coming just up ahead. Now, it can be, wow, I lost speed formation. Didn't mean to, I jumped too late, and that's what caused me to lose speed formation. But, I lost my speed formation unintentionally, and now the other trolley section coming up ahead is even more awkward, I suppose you could say, than this one is, because you have lasers placed along the wing in awkward places, and I must admit I'm not exactly good at the timing for this part of the stage. You see, I almost lost a life there, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, I mentioned this while explaining the rules for the bobsled and the rules for the trolley are the same. If you lose all 3 of your formations, you basically lose a life and have to start over either from the last checkpoint or the beginning of the stage if you didn't get a checkpoint. Now at that last checkpoint, if I'd gone higher, then if I'd gone onto the 3rd platform above the 2 lower ones, I would have been able to get to a 1-up inside a cage, but I already have so many 1-ups that I already have so many lives, and that's really not many, not compared to how many I have in the story, but I have so many lives here that it doesn't really matter that I get many more, as long as I don't lose any lives. Now, this segment here is similar to Team Chaotix's part, and so will the upcoming segment be, but here you have to destroy the walls, and here I don't exactly have it memorized which one will take you on, but anyway, one wall will take you on, and up here we'll have to light this torch and we'll take to this room, which we saw in Team Chaotix's story.
Let's grind on this thing.
I don't have a problem with grinding on this thing so long as we don't meet the spider that made it. But, because if we did meet the spider, we'd be in quite some trouble here. You see, now, as you just saw, I made a cut because we've already seen this room, and getting between the switches can take a while. So I decided just not to show getting to the switches because it's no different from how it is in Team Chaotix's story, except Team Chaotix's version of the extra mission version of the stage we had to blow out the blue torches, and as you saw in episode, I believe it was episode 20, that was quite a chore. Now here, we have to do these 3 trials like we had to do in the story. The most challenging one is probably definitely the fly formation one, and I'm going to do that one first. They made the flying to the platforms more difficult now. They're further apart and they move, so it can actually be a lot more difficult to get past this part.
Let's go!
Now, it took me a while to move. It took me about 15 seconds or so, because it didn't look to me like I was going to make it, so I was hesitant as to whether or not to proceed. But in the end, I just decided, you know what, screw it. It's all or none. It's already too late. If I fail, I'll fall, so... oh well, whatever happens, happens is what I was thinking. Now, this part is more difficult than it was in the story too, because instead of there being 3 fans, there's only 1, and what you have to do is you have to jump and use triangle dive to get to the fan, and then it will give you enough height to get to them back to the center. And simply use Team Blast to make destroying this guy quicker. And the last one we'll do is probably the easiest, although again more difficult than it was in the story. The speed formation, you have to use homing attack. Now, the reason this is more difficult is because although it's pretty much the same, this time around the pumpkin ghosts, they move, so you have to be careful with your timing, and you can't be too rapid because you can't mess up and fail. Now, I meant to actually get to the switch by jump dashing, but I started too late, so, oh well.
No problem. Piece of cake.
So that will be the end of this episode of my Let's Play of Sonic Heroes, and in the next episode we'll finish the Super Hard mode. This has been the Dark Shadow of Light, and I will see you all in time.